Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. It's so good to see you. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me. Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. And so today we have this interesting story I wanted to talk to you guys about. I'm supposed to have some guests that come in. Madam President says she might drop by. So when she comes in, I'll bring her through so she can kind of state a perspective. But anyway, there is a crazy story about these really beautiful Black social media influencers who are facing a lot of years in prison. I'm talking about 10 years to life based on the research that I did. And it makes me sad because I don't think it has to be that way. And you can see the young ladies on the screen in a second. These are two beautiful Black women that apparently were doing really well on the gram. They were flexing on the gram, and according to media reports, they were allegedly caught with I think they said 200 pounds of cocaine in the floorboard of their car. And so, anyway, as you come in, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, shout out the city you're from. Let me know what city you're from, and I'll shout your city back if I see it. Let's see here. I see Doris says, good. I'm glad they're going to prison. Okay. Let's see here. Leroy says, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Good to see you. Michael Johnson, B1 Chicago. My name is Corey. How you doing? B1 to you too. B1 means Black first, in case you don't know that. B1 means we also break generational curses up in here. We're not trying to continue generational curses. We want our kids to be smart and wealthy and successful. And my job and my goal is to make you richer, to make you smarter, and make you happier. How you doing, Kevin? Out of Compton. I got to say it like that. Jasiri Muhammad out of Chicago. Zola Robledo out of Houston. How you doing, sister? Good to see you. Saran Harper, the Harpers from South Florida. Very nice. All right, so let's jump into this, right? So I'm going to read the story to you guys, and I want to kind of give a perspective on this because I think that it's important for all of us to have conversations with each other, with ourselves, and with our children, especially the children. You got to think about the babies, about what social media is doing to us, what social media can do to young people. And so I'm going to read this to you. These two young ladies, beautiful young Black women, they were arrested in Mobile County, Alabama, for transporting 200 pounds of the white stuff, the white horse, the white stuff that goes in the nose, the sugar booger, I guess they call it. And the Mobile County Sheriff's Office arrested Racquelle Dolores Anteola, 34, Nuys, California, and Melissa Dufour, 36, of Miramar, Florida, on Thursday for trafficking 217 pounds of suspected cocaine hidden under the floorboards of the Ford Expedition they were driving. The two women told law enforcement conflicting stories about where they were going. It was later determined they were en route from Houston to Atlanta. So they allegedly. It's always important to say allegedly because this is not a proven crime. And so they were allegedly headed to Atlanta, and they got caught with this stuff in their car allegedly, and it looks like they might be facing some serious time. I'm gonna bring Madam President in here, and y'all got to be on time, man. We Black, we don't do CP time up in here. So, what's up, Madam President? How you doing?
How you doing, Dr. B? I'm doing well, thank you.
Good to see you. We're supposed to have Tierra here. Tierra ain't nowhere to be found. So y'all be playing with my time, man. We got to get to it. So anyway, did you see this? You actually brought this story up. You did a video about it. I put it on my Instagram. Tell us what's going on here with this story with with these young ladies.
Well, Dr. Boyce, I keep saying this is the delusion of luxury. I am learning that my generation, I was born in 85, so I don't know what, I'm not Gen Z, but maybe I am. I don't know. Born in 85, but my generation is a little bit I don't know, we're disassociated with our reality in the context of we some kind of way think that you can get millions of dollars by just being attractive or being not understanding how money is actually generated. Because if you look at these girls, they're able-bodied women portraying a certain lifestyle online, but then behind closed doors they traveling cocaine. These are drug dealers.
I think just out of fairness, maybe we just say allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
That way we're not accusing, but it's innocent until proven guilty. But it does. The story doesn't look good though. It doesn't look good at all.
No, it doesn't. But this is common. Like we're learning. Well, I don't know how often you look up like some of the social media people that's associated with fraud, but the reality is to obtain a whole bunch of luxury typically requires a level of success or a level of understanding or systems in place that is beyond most people think they're supposed to have this at 19 years old, 20 years old. Dr. Watkins, you are a PhD finance guru. I should not be looking at you and Alicia saying, yeah, I'm gonna have that tomorrow. Like that's years of understanding finance. That's years of work. Dr. Alicia Watkins, that's years of psychological training, work, certifications, etc. Why do young people look at you and other people and say those are goals that I can have immediately? We don't want to do the work for it.
Wow. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what, Madam President. I agree with you. I think it's absolutely insane for somebody from my generation to see when we see people that are like 24 try to live like us. You know, when I was 24, let me tell you about my life when I was 24. And by the way, I'm gonna put Diane's note up here just as a warning. There are a lot of Boyce Watkins impersonators. You know, a lot of I guess everybody want to be me. You know, if it was that easy, then everybody be doing it. I'm playing. I'm being silly. But yeah, you're right, Diana. They do say that they are me, but they're not me. And I want you to be careful. I want you all to know I don't have a WhatsApp. I'm not trying to push crypto to you. So do not I'm not gonna hit you up in your DM. So that is not me. Those are fake scammer accounts. So be very careful of those accounts when you see them. With that being said, though, Madam President, I think that it is kind of scary and I can't imagine the pressure of being 24, thinking that you're supposed to live as well as a 50-year-old. You know, when I was 24, my diet consisted of like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, ramen noodles, maybe some Kool-Aid if I was lucky, and I barely paid the rent. You know, I could barely get by. And this idea that that in your 20s you're supposed to be driving a Lambo and living your best life, that's just a little bit foreign to me. I don't even understand how people can even have that expectation.
Well, one of the things I think that's ruining the generation is applied knowledge. So once you get something, so everybody is talking about a life of ease, right? People are talking about, we're pushing a life of ease, and also too getting away from the idea that you have to struggle. Those are all excellent affirmations. You should definitely want to get in the habit and practice of saying to yourself, I do not have to struggle. I can have access to the things that I need. But then you have to do the internal work and figure out what can I do within the legal realms of what I would like to be and do that will allow me to live a life that I know that I deserve to live. We are under the impression that we can literally do the low life stuff and still have the high life lifestyle. And you can't do it. You can't be the drug dealer and also the doctor. Well, that doesn't sound good in America. You can do two of those.
You got a lot of doctors that are drug dealers, but I get your point.
Doctors are drug dealers in our country. But, you can't be like the science teacher and the stripper. Like, you got to pick one, sis. Like, and I feel like we're doing a lot of that these days.
Well, I wonder how much of it's just bad culture, in the sense that all they see in music and media is the glorification of drug dealers. When you see a lot of people living that life, that so-called boss life, they have pictures of Rick Ross, being the boss, right? When he's on the boat with his shirt out and shirt open with a bunch of jewelry on, with a liquor bottle in one hand and a gun in the other, with a big briefcase full of money behind him, with a bunch of women with bikinis on. Like, that's the same image. Everybody sees that image, right? It's a consistent image. And what's unfortunate and crazy about it is that is an image that leads a lot of young people to prison. And the problem for the young people that makes me sad, that makes me even talk about this, is that they're not really getting that message maybe when they're young. They don't learn it. They don't figure it out till they get 10 years in prison. They don't figure it out until they've been in jail 2, 3, 4 years, realizing they got another 20. And then they start learning about all the things that brainwashed them along the way. And that makes me kind of sad. It makes me feel bad for them because these are kids, young people that can do almost anything. but there is a culture. I believe that there is a bad, toxic, horrible culture that is thrust on them through music and media that you cannot deny. It drives me crazy when people act like that music doesn't matter. The easiest way to get into a person's subconscious mind is through music. Do you understand what I'm saying? Music, literally. My wife, don't remember, I'm not just some Negro running his mouth on the internet. My wife is an expert on the subconscious mind. She said the easiest way to tap into the subconscious mind, and white supremacists know this. The white supremacists know this. The easiest way to tap into your subconscious mind is through music or with a beat. Do you know that, Madam President, they have people that are Alzheimer's patients who can't even remember the names of their own kids? Well, when they start playing a certain kind of music, they get up, they start dancing, they start remembering stuff. Their brain goes back. So I'm just telling y'all, when y'all got somebody literally saying, I'm in love with the cocoa over and over, or kill that N word over and over, and giving you all the Molly Percocet over and over, like Future did in that one song, those are the strongest marketing campaigns in American history. Nothing has been more influential in marketing a product, whether it's drugs or anything else, than hip hop. That's why they hire rappers, because rappers were the original social media influencers. I'm gonna share this, and then I want you to talk, Madam President. But I gotta share this before I forget it because it's important. I'll never forget. Russell Simmons is a friend of mine, and I respect Russell because he's a businessman. He's a smart guy. He's good at what he does. And Russell Simmons, when Run DMC first came out, remember that song? Anybody remember that? Give me a yes if you're old enough to remember the song. My Adidas. Do you remember that song by chance, Madam President? Are you old enough?
I don't remember.
Run DMC had a song called My Adidas, and the whole song was about rapping how they wear their Adidas when they rap, and they wear Adidas tracksuits or whatever. I could probably show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all some pictures of that. But anyway, Russell went to Adidas and he said, "These rappers are getting people to wear your product. They're persuading the consumer in a way that you can never persuade them. They got everybody wearing Adidas. All the people in the hood want to wear Adidas now. So to prove to the Adidas executive that they deserved an endorsement deal, Russell brought one of the executives to a concert, and he told his brother Ron. He said, in the middle of the concert, I want you to tell everybody in the stadium to hold their one Adidas in the air. And he did that, and like 50, 70, 80,000 people held the one Adidas in the air. And that was when the executive was like, oh my God, like these rappers can influence people to do things, right? So anybody who thinks that it's just music, that rap music does not influence people to do things, you are crazy. The evidence does not support your delusion. So I think it's bad culture, Madam President. What do you think?
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. We're literally dancing to our own demise. We're literally dancing to something that is completely toxic and deadly. Like I remember they was dancing to Bobby Smurda, Cut a Body about a week ago, and everybody was doing that in the parties and the clubs, and it was like a really big hit song. But here's what's crazy. When that body is your uncle, when that body is your brother, when that body is your husband, then all of a sudden we have to cry. What you get, this energy that we place in the music, it's a complete, it's opposite of what you desire for a healthy life. So why are we dancing to the things that's deadly to us and then hoping to stay alive? Like, what would be the reason to that? Every time, and then I don't know how much you're into hip hop culture right now, Dr. Watkins, but literally the only women that can excel in the music industry on the radio, the only women that get mainstream access are the women that are willing to be naked, the women that are willing to expose their bodies, the women that are willing to say effa in, effa it, Negro. And it's like, this is the most deadliest sound on the planet. Who would okay this? Who would say play this through the airwaves? And I also want to highlight, this is one of the reasons why the African American community is so behind in so many ways, is because we have so many things working against us, to the point where we even have music that's working against a group of people that needs to really be progressive, doing a whole bunch of positive things, but the only thing they can have the complete access to is the stuff that's pussy popping. Like, that's not okay. That's completely inappropriate. But hold on. The one thing that I love to say about our industry is it don't talk about the reality. They have you talking about sex, but they never have you talking about HIV. They never have you talking about how many pills you got to take when you are when you have STDs, how many times you got to have those hard conversations with people, your love life after you've contracted something that's going to be with you for a lifetime, but they want to push the behavior of being over sexualized, but never want to push the consequence behind it. So I just believe that we're constantly, with just too many forces in this music industry that's making a lot of people just walking zombies. Minister Farrakhan said this. I mean, and this is really, I live by this. I always remember this. And I remember this when I'm making sure that I'm holding myself accountable, and when I'm making sure that I'm thinking for myself. Minister Farrakhan said once, the reason why you have to dress the dead is because they're dead. When they put the shirt, when you're doing the last looks for the dead and they're about to push the body out so there's a viewing, the dead can't think. The dead needs somebody to put their clothes on them and dress them so the people can see them, to view the body. And the dead can't do anything because they're dead. So when our people, our young people and people my age group are into this arena and not really listening to the words, you have to ask yourself, am I dead? I'm just going to do what everybody else is doing. I'm going to let somebody else think for me. I'm going to let somebody else dress me. Am I a dead person? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted myself. By the way, everybody, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm talking to the one and only Madam President. And if you could please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also want to let you guys know one Madam President with a Z is where you can follow Madam President online. And also she has a great website with amazing apparel called thefreedom.company, and that's on the website. So if you want to go take a look at some of the cool apparel she has, everybody go take a visit. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, this podcast is on Spotify. So if you look up my name on Spotify, you can find the Dr. Boyce Breakdown on Spotify. So you know what, Madam President, when you were talking, I was thinking about just some of these issues that you bring up in terms of why these young women that we started the conversation with were arrested. And we're not here to say that they don't hold accountability for their choices, right? We can't say that, right? But I think that this idea of trying to flex for the gram and then having that get you in trouble, and then think about how many people have gotten arrested for stuff that they were bragging about on Instagram. I think I read something about a rapper who was bragging about who's taking pictures with money on Instagram, and the police were looking at his Instagram because they suspected him of a crime, and they saw that he had a bag. I think it was a Gucci bag that was that somebody had seen at the crime scene. It was something ridiculous like that, and they literally arrested him based on what they saw him say and do on Instagram, because they were able to compare their notes and look at everything. And so really it's kind of sad that you have this culture where it just kind of makes a lot of our young people stuck on stupid in terms of a lack of strategy. Like these young ladies that did get arrested. You don't just talk about them. You have to talk about just that general culture that leads us to do things. For example, like you talk about music, and you made an accurate point that women can only get opportunities in music if they pop in that vagina, right? There's no, in fact, Megan Thee Stallion, as talented as she is, I don't know. Does anybody know what a stallion is? What do you know what a stallion is, Madam President?
I believe a stallion is a horse.
Yeah, it's a horse. What do you know? What kind of horse it is? I had to look it up, so most people don't know.
I'm sorry, I don't know what kind of horse it is, but
a stallion is an adult male horse.
Oh, okay.
An adult male horse. So you talk about just the degradation of Black women. This woman's name is literally named after an adult male horse. I don't understand that. I just have to admit, I don't. Whoever came up with that name probably didn't do a Google search the way I did, because a stallion, if you look up the definition of stallion, last time I checked, maybe I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I could have sworn it said adult male horse. So you got Black women out here bragging about being adult male horses, offering WAP to anybody within a 100-mile radius. And like you said, we ain't talking about HIV. We ain't talking about unwanted pregnancies. We ain't talking about all the sexual assaults. We ain't talking about all the horrible things happening to little girls who are taking in these messages. But yet we will cheer on the very thing that destroys us. Now, if you also talk about the influence of music, music, I think, ties into social media. It's kind of connected, right? Because you're really talking about the culture, right? I remember I told you earlier about that story with Run DMC and how it started with rappers. When I believe that if there was here, I'm gonna be a conspiracy theorist for a minute. If there was a conspiracy to utilize the power of hip hop to control the minds of Black youth, um, part of the evidence came from the fact that rappers were the original influencers of Black people at a very high level. And I told you about Run DMC, and a lot of younger people don't remember that era. I get it. That shows I'm showing my age, but with age comes wisdom. So let me school y'all on where it kind of started. So I mentioned to you that Russell Simmons had Run tell everybody in the audience to hold up one Adidas shoe, and basically like thousands of people did it. So at that point, Adidas signed a major deal with Run DMC, if I'm not mistaken, because they said, wow, we rappers can influence Black people, or really all people, not just Black people, but they can influence certain people, particularly urban people, in a way that commercials cannot. So that started the wave of using rappers also they also use preachers and radio show hosts and celebrities in general to not just sell products, but also to get you to vote for certain politicians. All right. And so ultimately, when you're talking about this, you have to sort of really look at this culture and ask ourselves, like, what's really going on? Like, what is it about this pressure, this social media pressure, that's causing us to be okay with watching ourselves just destroy ourselves? I don't get it.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed about us is, number one, the Black community, we failed at picking our own celebrity. See, the reason why they've been able to push all types of agendas that has worked on us is because, I don't know if you all have ever visited a slave plantation, but I had the privilege of a sad privilege of visiting a slave plantation, and I want to say some part of New Orleans or something like that, 40 miles out. So I go to this plantation, the Whitley plantation, and they show us the slave quarters. And in the slave, when you see the slave quarters and you look up, there's this big mansion at the slave quarters, right? So the slave never have come to understand that it's through their presence that the mansion is standing. So every time they think, their mindset is, I want to get into the house, but they don't understand that that house is built on their own enslavement. So that's one of the biggest issues of us, is that our only thought process of getting big houses is through our own enslavement. There is never a time where a woman wants to use her body as a segue for financial gain and be mentally well behind it. Like, that's not healthy. That's a dead culture. So another thing is too, like, we don't pick our own celebrities. Think about this. We literally, the people that are celebrities in our community, and I'm talking about big celebrities, the A-list celebrities, are the people that have been chosen by white people. It's the people that has been chosen through Oscars and Grammys. It's the people that have achieved a level of success that's deeper than what we consider to be community success. We know a lot of people. We know principals in the community that don't get the praise if a rapper come through the community. We got teachers in the community that don't get the praise if a popular influencer come through the community. We've done this to ourselves in some extent.
Well, you know what? To your point, I want everybody to look at this list of these celebrities, and I want you to ask, would these people be famous? Let's say white people stop supporting them. If they had no record label anymore, no television production company supporting them, no corporate sponsors, would these people still be celebrities? And you look at this list, I just pulled up a list of most famous Black celebrities. You got Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, Will Smith, Gabrielle Union, John Legend, Alicia Keys, Sean Combs, Jada Pinkett Smith, Serena Williams, Tyra Banks, Queen Latifah, Janet Jackson, Jennifer Hudson, Rosario Dawson, Eva Marcel, Michelle Obama, Whoopi Goldberg, Jamie Foxx, Barack Obama, Kobe Bryant, Diana Ross, Eddie Murphy, Lenny Kravitz, Dwayne Johnson, a.k.a. The Rock, Mariah Carey, Chris Rock, Gayle King, Cuba Gooding Jr., Forrest Whitaker, John Singleton, Danny Glover, Bernie Mac, Wesley Snipes, Don Cheadle, Snoop Dogg, Dwayne Wade, Shaquille O'Neal. I'm going to stop right there. So would you agree? Give me a yes in the chat if you agree with this statement that most of those people would not be famous if white people had not selected them. It doesn't mean that they're not talented. It doesn't mean that we didn't like them once they were presented to us. I'm not saying that at all. But one thing that is true, Madam President, is that there are plenty of super talented black people who maybe choose not to play the game, who choose not to sell their soul, who can dance just as well as Beyonce, who can sing just as good as John Legend, but they don't get that big platform because white people don't accept them, right? So black people who are scary to white folks don't get certain opportunities. I know as a black man, I always say that, I know why white folks want to hide you from me, because an intelligent, educated black man that speaks the truth on racism is not going to be accepted in the mainstream media, especially when you speak the truth on what white people have done to us and what they owe us, right? So, a guy like me isn't going to be mainstream. I don't want to be mainstream. But if I was a rapper, I could easily maybe be mainstream. If I was a gangster rapper or something. If you're a comedian, if you are an athlete, those are pretty much the three areas that black men are accepted. So when politicians are looking to influence the black community and to get people to vote a certain way, they go talk to these entertainers and athletes. They don't actually want to talk to people in the community who have done the work, who know the solutions, because they don't want to know the solutions. They want to see the black community as an oppressed, broken, beat down, ignorant class. Ignorant's the operative word, y'all. I need y'all to understand this. And the reason they like you ignorant is because when you're ignorant and vulnerable, then you turn and you say, "Hey, massa, help me. Can you help me? If I vote for you, will you help me? If I give you my money, will you help me? If I buy your product, will you help me? If I get your shot in my arm for this virus, will you help me?" Right? We're taught, it's like a type of trained helplessness, right? We're put in the wheelchair. We're never asked to use our legs, and it's like you're the kid in the wheelchair, where if they catch you standing up, they're gonna beat you up. So they're like, "Stay your ass in the wheelchair." You're like, "But my legs work. I can walk fine." They're like, "No, we need you in the wheelchair because that's your job. You need to be the crippled kid." So I don't know. What do you think about that analogy, Madam President?
I really enjoy that analogy. And the one thing I know people probably want us to have a very opposing conversation, but I agree with Dr. Watkins on a lot of things.
That's okay. That's all right. Be honest. That's all you got to do.
That's just number one. There's some things, maybe we don't see eye to eye on, but this is not one of them for sure. So I will say that I want to talk about in high school, if I could, just very quickly. So one of the things that I realize is genius is produced at a young age. So a lot of times when you're young, this is when your genius is really thriving, right? You're young and you're being introduced to words, all these different things. And a lot of times, only way a child can kind of be cultivated and nurtured in a certain environment in education is if the environment is healthy. So we are stumped at middle school with an environment that is against thriving by using your mind. We're stumped. Some of the social issues that we have to deal with as youth is absolutely disgusting. Some of the teachers that I've had conversations with over the years have talked about how they can't even demand that certain students learn how to read properly because of, they got 40 kids, one teacher, and then half of the parents are disconnected from the child. When I tell you some of the issues that's really deeply rooted, so you talking about, I'm just going to use Kodak Black. I don't really know him. I know some of his music, but when I first heard Kodak Black, I felt disconnected from him because I felt like this seems like a child rapping. This seems like, somebody who isn't fully mentally developed. Why is this person popular? But I had to come to terms that this person's popular because people who are mentally underdeveloped is connecting with somebody else who's mentally underdeveloped. It should not be okay for us to be sitting around listening, bumping our heads, enjoying listening to a person who's obviously mentally underdeveloped. We just be okay with it. So all that to say, when I was in high school, I didn't have a science teacher. My freshman year of high school, I didn't have a science teacher. I literally had to take science my senior year. That was the first time we got a teacher, and we needed one very badly because, of course, we needed to graduate. It was a prerequisite, right? But the reality is, I like to say that if I had an interest in science, I couldn't even get introduced to it because it was missing in the school. So we got a lot of issues that's rooted literally from middle school to high school that we can't even get into and fix. And then we're talking about a rap industry that welcomed kids, a rap industry that tell young women, you got to F a dude to get what you want. But they've already prevented you. This is the same system that's responsible for your children testing skills. The same industry that separated your children from even having a decent building all year long. But we trust them with everything. I love to say the Jewish community never let the Nazis become teachers to their children. So how do we end up in this predicament?
Well, you know what? That's a good question. And everybody, I want you to know, I'm speaking with Madam President. Madam President, her website is thefreedom.company, by the way. That's her apparel brand. And we're talking about two beautiful Black women that were just arrested, social media influencers that were just arrested for allegedly having a couple hundred pounds of cocaine in the car. And we were talking about the influence and the effect of social media, as well as the quote unquote the culture and what that's really doing to so many of our young people. If you could take 1 second, please hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, you can follow Madam President here. I'm gonna give her social media. It's at one Madam President. She is on. She does a lot of good commentary. She's right there on Instagram and Twitter. And everybody should follow Madam President because she's smart and she's Black and she's awesome. Anyway, so one thing, Madam President. Here's something I found. I did some research on social media and the effects that social media can have on the minds of young people. And so the 5 things that I found, or actually 7 things, I'm gonna list them real quick, and these are all from academic journals. So y'all ready? I want y'all to hear this. Here's what too much social media use can do to you, besides make you just kind of dumb and do stupid stuff. 1, increase feelings of loneliness and social isolation. 2, increase your levels of anxiety and depression, high levels of anxiety and depression, because you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. 3, negative body image and low self-esteem due to constant exposure to idealized images and comparisons to others. Did y'all hear that? Now, this is interesting because these ladies you see here, they look a whole lot better on Instagram than they look in their mugshots, right? They look a lot more idealized, here, in some of these images than they look when they're about to go to jail. This poor girl down here looked like she's about to just, like she saw a ghost. And a lot of times we see people on social media portraying a fake life. And people got fake lives just like they got fake booties and fake titties and fake everything, right? So again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with people doing whatever they're going to do, but I encourage people, if you're comparing your relationship to other people's relationship or that you see online, stop doing that. You're looking at your real life and comparing it to the percentage, the tiny part of their life that they want you to see. Stop comparing your body to other people's bodies. Stop comparing your money to their money. And if you find yourself comparing, one thing I believe, Madam President, is if you find yourself constantly comparing yourself to other people, don't follow them anymore. Like, just don't keep that out of your mind. I mean, what do you think?
No, yeah, I agree. There's a saying that says comparison is the thief of joy. When you're constantly comparing yourself to other people, you don't have much gratitude of what you have. So often you're looking at what they have, you're forgetting that you're sitting in a home, you're looking at Rick Ross' home, you're forgetting that you got a house too, that you can pay attention to, that you can have value in. So I agree 110%. Like, comparison is the thief of joy. It's a one-way street to depression if you start comparing your life to people. But something that I like to do to keep my own self mentally healthy is, I always remember this. If you want a person's life, you also have to have their death. Let people have their life and you have yours. Let people have their death and you have yours. So that's one of the things that I remember, that I can't just have the luxury of their life. I got to have the other side too. So I'll just keep my own. And another friend of mine says, if you took your problems and threw it, in a pile of other people's problem, you pulled their shit out, you'll be looking for yours again, you know.
That's so true. That's so true. So I'm gonna read some more of the problems that can come up if you use social media too much. 4 is increased risk of addictive behaviors such as compulsive social media use. Social media addiction is a very real thing. 5, impaired sleep quality and disturbances due to excessive screen time and engagement with social media before bed. 6, this is big for your kids, cyberbullying and online harassment leading to increased stress and emotional distress. Number 7, fear of missing out. FOMO. We talk about that a lot with investing with the students in the Black Business School, but also FOMO can happen just generally when you think everybody's living their best life and you're feeling bad because you work at UPS or whatever it is that you do. And they say constant comparison to others, which can lead to dissatisfaction and a negative impact on well-being. I'll tell you, the internet is something that you have to harness it in a certain way. I use the internet a lot. I'm on here a lot, and but as a 51-year-old man, I'm able to be more aware of my emotions than I might have been if I was 12 or 17. And I can tell you that even at my age, especially given that I have literally over 1 million followers on different platforms. If you are digging into that stuff too much, it'll drive you crazy. Like I tell all the new people that come along and want to do what I do, like they want to have a YouTube channel, whatever. I tell them, like, don't read the comments because that stuff will get in your head and you'll feel like you got mosquitoes buzzing around your brain. Like it'll drive you crazy. And just look away. If you're gonna do your thing, and then look away. Also, use social media. Don't let social media use you. Don't just spend all your time scrolling and paying attention to what everybody else got going on. But if you have a business, social media is a great place to market your business. It's a great way to keep in touch with people that actually matter. I'll say this too. It's also a great place if you use it right to hear other perspectives. Like I like the debates. I like it when people from different points of view kind of come in, as long as it doesn't get too reckless. So social media is a gift and a curse, and I encourage everybody look at it like a brand new sports car. A sports car can drive fast and get you places quickly, but it can also crash if you don't drive it carefully. So drive your social media carefully. Madam President, I'll let you get the last word.
Oh, absolutely. I would like to just say thank you for having me, Dr. Watkins. It's always good to see you. I love you. I've seen you on camera. And I just want to say that absolutely, you got to remember, it's not about your real life. It's not about what you can do and your followers. It's really about what's going on inside. Are you mentally well? Are you spiritually well? Are you healthy minded? So it's about your real life, REAL. Don't look at people's luxury and think that you're missing out on something, because you gotta remember this. We are living in a time now that in 10 years, people will be doing something different. People that's telling you, oh, you can get this credit card, you can do this. You make $35,000 a year, you have an $125,000 credit card. It's not going to solve your problem, baby. You got to pay it back. That's one of the issues that we're having. Yeah. You got to understand, you have a responsibility to yourself to be informed. Don't be ignorant and don't be okay with it. So my thing is, comparison is a thief of joy. I'm Madam President with the Z. I do podcast segments on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can follow me, One Madam President. I'm also the owner of the Freedom Company, www.thefreedom.company, and you all could see me there. And I appreciate you for having me, Dr. Watkins.
All right. Well, I'm glad you were here. And I put Madam President's website up here so you can check out her excellent apparel brand. And also, I put up Montez's comment because Montez said, oh, man, I always thought you read my comments. Well, you know what? I saw that comment, brother. And really, to really be more precise about it, I will look at comments until until my emotional balance starts to be affected. Right. If I start getting real pissed off at what's being said, I walk away. And one thing I'm gonna tell you, this is really for intelligent Black people, is you gotta minimize the amount of time you spend arguing with people that you feel are just complete idiots. You should listen to them, listen, but don't feel like you gotta argue, because sometimes an idiot can give you a perspective that if you're open-minded enough, it can help you see things in a different way or understand how the world's working. But they have a saying that says it's really, really hard to win an argument with a smart person, but it's impossible to win an argument with an idiot. Okay, so because an idiot ain't never gonna let you win, they're gonna come with all the wrong facts. They're gonna say all the crazy, ignorant stuff. It's gonna piss you off. So this platform, again, this platform is for those who value intelligence. I say intelligent Black people not because of education level or anything like that. I say intelligent Black people because I want us to want to be smarter. And the reason I think it's important to be intentional about that is because we have a society that wants us to be dumb. They want Black people blind, deaf, dumb, crazy, stupid, always reacting because you're a day late and a dollar short, can't get nothing done because you need Joe Biden to come and do it for you. I don't live in that world. That's not where any of us need to be. We can do anything white folks can do. So stop being scared, stand up for yourself, and stop letting them degrade your children and stop letting them kill your people. We can't just be outraged when a Black person dies just because they're killed by a white person. I'm outraged anytime a Black person dies, even if they're killed by a Black person, right? So all these things have to come into the conversation and stop letting other folks tell you what you're allowed to talk about. So thank you very much, Madam President. I appreciate you. TheFreedom.company is her website. Everybody, please go support her Black-owned business. She's a good person. Her products are very well structured, and I really like everything I get from there. Also, Madam President's going to hopefully join us at the All Black National Convention. You going to be there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's going to be in Atlanta, and I know you down that way. So, it's going to be Atlanta, October 20th, October 20th through the 22nd. So, if you'd like to learn more or become a vendor, sponsor, anything like that, go to allblacknationalconvention.com. So, take care, everybody. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, look for my name on Spotify. You can find us on there too. Have a good day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.